is Cashing Out on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, let's have some fun. It's time for Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo, getting you ready for your weekend, taking you through the late hours of this Thursday evening, all the way in to your Friday morning right here on the program. And we've got a fun one lined up. We've got some great hoops going on, light baseball card today. All those games have concluded. We'll dive into them throughout the course of the program. But the Lakers went off laying 1.5 against Golden State. 5 minutes to go in the first half. And following a missed Warriors 3, although they got the offensive board, let's see what they do with it here. The Lakers trail this one 40-32. Shot clock winding down, another 3-ball up, no good. Board, Bron. Lakers trailing 40-32. We'll get into the college hoops action. NIT championship game. Look, a lot of people say that the NIT is archaic, that it's going to be gone soon, that no one cares about it anymore. I disagree. I actually think if you've been watching, this has been one of the best NIT tournaments in recent memory. And UC Irvine, Chattanooga squaring off. The Anteaters up 6 in the closing minutes there. We'll get you a live number momentarily. How about the sensational guest list that our fantastic producer Jared Moore has assembled? We're going to be joined here shortly in Hour 1 by MLB reporter Michaela Bennett. Hour 2, our buddy Ryan McIntyre from the Sports Gambling Podcast Network hops on to break down this Final Four. And then we'll do it all in Hour 3 with Greg Peterson. Final Four breakdown. They don't call them hoops for nothing, right? Plus, some baseball betting with Greg Peterson, host of the Baseball Betting Show with Greg Peterson. I believe that's verbatim the name of it. Doesn't get more self-explanatory than that, folks. We're going to have a good time over these next 3 hours. Warriors up 43-34. We'll pull up a live line there momentarily. They're laying 3 and a hook. This game was nearly a pick'em. Again, Lakers went off minus 1.5 pre-flop. Golden State with an 8-point lead here, laying 3.5 now with 3:45 to go in the first half. Irvine's lead cut to 5. Let's see if this free throw goes. It does. 4-point game at Hinkle. 71-67. Anteaters. 2:55 to go. UC Irvine 32-6 on the season. What a year it's been for the runner-ups from the Big West. Chattanooga, the SoCon regular season champs, I believe. I want to double check that. I'll take a look at the standings, but I believe Chattanooga was the 1 seed in that SoCon conference tournament. Got upset there. Was it UNC Greensboro that upset them before losing ultimately to Wofford, who repped the SoCon in the NCAA tournament? We'll pull that up here. Yep, Chattanooga, 15-3. Had a 2-game lead on UNC Greensboro, the runner-up in the regular season. How did that conference tournament play out? Chattanooga lost to Furman, 80-77. And goodness, that must have been, I suppose, the semifinals of the SoCon tournament. This Chattanooga team is one I stand on that they could have made a little noise in March Madness. I mean, look, this has been as chalky a tournament as we've seen. How far would Chattanooga have gone? I don't know. But I think both Chattanooga and UC Irvine would have been teams that were live to win in the round of 64 and at least get to the round of 32. Again, we didn't really have any Cinderellas to the Sweet 16. Usually there's multiple double-digit seeds in the Sweet 16. This year, just one, Arkansas. Not a team you can call a Cinderella by any stretch of the imagination. Preseason ranked 16th. Can't call them a Cinderella. They underperformed. They got a 10 seed. They were not some feel-good magical story. So I don't know how far a Chattanooga or an Irvine would have gone, but I think they certainly would have been more entertaining, a better tourney team than a Texas, than a San Diego State, than an Oklahoma. And I know Oklahoma, you might say, well, they weren't even on the bubble. They were in the 8-9. Look, we don't need 6 and 12 teams in SEC play, right? I don't need to elaborate. I got on my soapbox enough with that. But Texas and Oklahoma, both 6 and 12 in conference play. It's an embarrassment. You shouldn't be 6 and 12 in conference play and be going dancing. Sorry. Sooners won 20 games this year, 20 and 14. I could have done without them. I could have done without the Longhorns, who were 3 games above 500. Give me a break. 19 and 16 this season. So Irvine, Chattanooga, making some noise here. And to be clear, Chattanooga was not a team that was really ever in consideration for an at-large. I thought UC Irvine should have gotten an at-large bid. And I said that before Selection Sunday. I said San Diego and Irvine, as long as they meet in the Big West title game, they should both be getting in. Irvine to the line here, up 3, 73-70. A minute 38 to go. First free throw rolls around, no good. Live line in that game? Let's take a look. I think I pressed the wrong button, so bear with me. And UC Irvine's laying 4.5 as they hit the second free throw. 74-70, minute 38 to go. We'll keep you updated. Anteaters, minus 4.5. That's plus money, plus 10 cents, if you want to grab that number. College basketball crown going on as well. Last I saw, USC was leading Villanova, but here come the Wildcats. This might be a good spot if you can get some value, folks, to look at Villanova live. And, I don't have, DraftKings is not showing live odds here. I could try to pull them up on my phone. Let me do just that, actually. See if another shop in town's got them. I'm sure Circa's got them. The live betting gets complicated sometimes with the app. Doesn't update as quickly as other shops. But Nova down 5, 41-36. It was 38-29, and I saw it Circa right before the show started. At 38-29, USC up by 9. They were laying 4.5 live. This might be a spot to consider playing Nova. Yep. So at Boyd, they're plus 150 money line. Plus 3.5 points in a 5-point game. You got to lay 30 cents for that plus 3.5, by the way. So that's a number. I'd look at that. I personally think Villanova is going to win this game. Down 5, 11.5 to go. Plus 150 money line. USC bucket, 7-point game. Get an even better price now, plus $1.65. Yeah, I think Nova's poised for a comeback here. I like this Villanova team. They were frisky. They beat St. John's, They had some good wins in Big East play. Obviously, disappointing. They haven't been to the tournament in 3 years. They won 2 titles in 3 years. Now they haven't been to the dance each of the last 3 years. But I still think they're better than USC. Speaking of universities with 3-letter abbreviations, UCF upset Cincinnati earlier, right here in Vegas. 88-80. How about that? The Bearcats were 6.5-point favorites in that one. Knights win it. 50 points in the second half from the Knights. Johnson, 31 points in the win. 7 assists. Mitchell for the Bearcats, their top performer, 17 points, 12 boards, 6 dimes in that one. Not sure how active the player prop market is for the CBC tournament, but 30 points from Johnson. That's a hell of a performance right there from a guy who's averaged, what was his average on the year? About 18? 17 a game, Darius Johnson, the senior out of Maryland this season. Nova's cut it to 5, 43-38. As close as it's been second half. Chance to make it 2. That's good. 43-41. You're not going to get that plus $1.65 anymore. 2-point game, 10.5 to go. Nova's winning this, baby. Big East. Better than, I almost said the Pac-12. Better than the Big Ten. I think pound for pound. You look at the Big East's 11 teams versus the Big Ten's 18. I'll take the top of the Big East against the top of the Big Ten any day. How about Nova? As we're commenting on a tournament that's quite literally the bottom of every conference versus the bottom of every conference. 20 seconds to go in the NIT. Chattanooga with a chance to take the lead here. Baseline drive, kick to the corner. Wow, they're shooting 3. They're shooting 3 free throws. What a terrible, inexcusable foul by the Anteaters. UC Irvine's coach is going nuts, saying that, he might have a point. He's saying the shooter for Chattanooga extended his leg to make contact, and the defender was really, nowhere. The defender was not really that close to him. The shooter initiated all that contact. Honor Huff, kid who had a great game in the semis, burned me when I had Loyola laying 2.5. Stayed away from this game. I like both these teams a lot. So I stayed away here. Chattanooga was catching 3.5 at most shops. There were some, 3 at most shops. There were some 3.5s and 4s out there stray on the market, but in town it was virtually 3 everywhere. Huff, by the way, has hit the first 2 free throws. This is the first time Chattanooga's led the entire second half. 75-74. 16 seconds to go. Wow. He hits this one. It's a 2-point game. Irvine, 16 seconds left, will be able to tie or take the lead. If he misses, Irvine will look to push it. Hits them all 3. Wow. The Mocs. Little moxie for the Mocs. 76-74. 16 seconds left. What's Irvine going to do? If my eyes aren't deceiving me, they have multiple timeouts left, I believe. And, oh, he didn't just do that. Did they call the foul? They did. Wow. Kid from Irvine goes top of the key, off balance, chucks one up. Was a horrid shot. Didn't think they were going to call it. They called it. Now Irvine's going to head to the line for 3. You can't make this crap up. This is insane. Wow. Chattanooga just got 3 free throws. Now the Anteaters get 3, and the first one's good. 76-75. Mocs lead down to 1. 12.5 seconds to go. And this is the kid who was called for the foul, number 77 on Irvine. Second free throw, good. He looks so poised up there. Little white kid, looks like he shoots 98% from the free throw line. Wearing a baggy t-shirt under his jersey. I love it. I never got that. The oversized t-shirts under the jerseys. 10 seconds till the break. Is he going to get the free throw off? No, he's going for a little walk. 76-76, 12.5 seconds to go. It's the NIT championship game. We'll update you on a final or maybe overtime. Up next, Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
I don't know how people out there could not love college basketball at all levels, right? How could you not be locked into this NIT game right now? By the way, over in the Crown, Villanova, they're up 45-43. What did I tell you? 8 minutes to go. They could end up covering that 5.5 pre-flop they were laying. Is that a travel by USC? You can't call a foul there. He took 18 steps. Come on, Stripes, wake up. 3 seconds left. Trojans will, looks like, be headed to the line. So the NIT, we've got an out-of-bounds coach appeal. I guess this is a new experimental rule. It looks like it'll be Chattanooga ball with 1.5 to go, tied at 76. The kid from Irvine missed the third and final free throw for the lead. So it is 76 all. Believe again it's going to be Mocs ball. Could be mistaken. It could be, that actually a challenge might have overruled that. It might be Irvine ball. Now they've just put like another tick on the clock. 1.7 seconds to go. No, Chattanooga ball. All right, we'll see what happens here. Overtime might be on its way. Less than 2 seconds to go. Do the Mocs have a buzzer beater in them for the win and cover? If not, it's OT. What was that? Inbound pass deflected out of bounds? Trying to get battling the glare. Sorry, folks. I've got one TV, I'm battling a tripod. The other TV, I'm battling the glare. Let's sit tight and see how this one finishes. Boy, they love milking time at the end of these games, huh? Refs still holding the ball, talking to guys, giving people, come on, inbound it. What are we doing here? Top of the key, 3, Mocs up. No good. Overtime it is. Wow. Got the look he wanted. Practically uncontested. Lots of separation. Top of the key, 3. Overtime it is. So we've got halftime with the Lakers and Warriors. We've got overtime with the Mocs and the Anteaters. I like the Mocs and the Anteaters way more than the Warriors and Lakers in terms of team names. You kidding me? All right, let's get these updated odds. NIT, 76 all. Chattanooga, plus $1.15. Irvine, minus 45 cents. Money line, that is. No spread. Warriors, Lakers. How about Golden State with a 60-47 edge over the Lakers? 13-point lead for the Warriors, who closed underdogs, slight underdogs, of 1.5 points. Now, favorites with 24 minutes to go. Laying 7.5. Money line, Golden State minus $3.75. Lakers plus 270. Live total, they're sitting at 107 right now. That live total's 221.5. Let's get some notable performances. Draymond, 0 points. Steph's got 12, only 1 3. Not on pace for another 12 3-pointer night. 4 of 10 from the floor. 5 assists to go with his 12 points. But it's been this Podziemski kid, 22 points, 6 boards. He is 6 of 7 from 3. He is, ladies and gentlemen, on pace for 12 3-pointers. Kuminga's got 10 off the bench for Golden State. For the Lakers, LeBron's got 8. Barring the apocalypse, he'll extend his double-digit streak. Reeves has 11, 5 boards to go with it. Luka, only 8. Luka and Braun both have 8. LeBron, 2 boards, 3 dimes. Luka, 4 boards, 3 dimes. Hachimura has 13 to lead the Lakers. Bench, Golden State outscoring that of the Lakers 16-5. Gabe Vincent with a 3. Finney Smith with a 2. That's it for the Lakers bench. Their bench has 6 fouls, 5 points. So that's the kind of night it's been for LA in the first half. Overtime underway at Hinkle, Chattanooga, UC Irvine. Mox got the first bucket. Odds flip. Went from Irvine laying 45 cents, Chattanooga plus $1.15. Now reverse that. Chattanooga's laying 45 cents, Irvine's catching 15. Oh, wow. That bucket was a nice offensive board by the Mox there. 1-on-2. Fought for that. Hey, while we're talking college hoops, got women's college hoops coming up tomorrow. Final 4. UConn. How about the 2 seed? Not just small favorites. Sizable favorites. This spread's bigger than the South Carolina-Texas game. You got the Gamecocks, Dawn Staley's South Carolina squad, laying 4.5 against Texas. While Gino Uriema's UConn Lady Huskies are, despite being the lone 2 seed in the Final 4, 3 1s and a 2, they are 7.5-point favorites against this UCLA Bruins team. Star of the team, Jaquez. Might remember her brother, Jaime Jaquez. He led the Bruins to that Final 4 run when they were an 11 seed. Went from the play-in in Dayton all the way to the Final 4. Now his sister running the show over there. They had a great win over Kim Mulkey's LSU squad in the Elite 8. Mulkey, by the way, not a fan. The way she treated, I believe it was a student reporter who she treated like crap after the game. Reporter asked her a question about, is it a little disappointing going out in the Elite 8 2 years in a row, coming so close to the Final 4, however he phrased it. And she goes, how many Final 4s have you played in? Like, what? Have a little class. My goodness. I guess if you follow anything about the lady and some of what she says off the court, class isn't a priority of hers. But my goodness. Treat a student reporter like that. Asks an honest question. There's nothing snarky about the question. I feel for that because I've been in that kid's shoes. I've been in those press conferences with a disappointed Steve Alford after UCLA loses in the first 4 to my Bonnies, or, countless Bonnies press conferences, opponents, A-10 tournament, NCAA tournament. Have a little class. Lose with a little grace. Come on. What happened to humble and defeat? Kim Mulkey wouldn't know anything about that. Yet, I was watching the opening round game, LSU San Diego State. She's running her offense. The shot clock is turned off because they're inside 30 seconds to go. She's running her offense up 60 in the round of 64 against a 14 seed. They're up like 102-47 or whatever the score was, and she's running her offense with 28 seconds left and the shot clock turned off. Save it, Mulkey. Unbelievable. Irvine, Chattanooga tied at 80 apiece. 2 minutes to go. By the way, not to play spoiler, but UConn laying those 7.5. People might say, oh, well, they're the 2 seed. The women's bracket's always super chalky. Wouldn't I want to take the 1 seed plus the... I'm laying it with UConn. Gino, you got a pissed off Gino Uriema in the tournament, and he's pissed off because of the whole 2-location thing and having to go to Spokane, Washington. You got a pissed off Gino in the Final 4. With Juju and USC, and look, I obviously hope that Juju recovers well, and seeing her go down with that ACL injury was grueling. But with Juju out, The best player in the Final Four is on UConn, Paige Beckers. You got the best coach. Well, I mean, look, I don't want to take anything away from Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley is sensational. Gino has been doing this at the highest level for a really darn long time. So I'll say, in my opinion, you got the best coach and the best player on a 2 seed on UConn. Yeah, I'll lay the 7.5 with them. I actually foolishly thought earlier in the day I'd be able to get UConn because they were the 2 seed at plus money to win it all. I go to the championship to the futures odds. They're the favorite, minus 160. So if you want value, Dawn Staley's Gamecocks plus 260. It's tough to go back to back, but they might have some value. Texas plus 750, UCLA 8-1. UConn minus 160. I couldn't get there on minus 160, but I would lay the 7.5 against UCLA. Folks, are you ready to take your sports betting to the next level? If so, the sharp plays at sharpplays.com are your secret weapon. Since 2011, they've been building trusted relationships with major sportsbooks and insiders worldwide. They provide daily updates on what the top pro bettors and betting groups are wagering on, so you're always ahead of the game. But that's not all they do. They've just launched a cutting-edge AI betting analyst that provides even more selections and reports, giving you the edge you need to win. Best part, you can check out the Sharp Plays free content anytime. Get real-time betting action reports, alerts, and more through email and Twitter directly from the pros. Plus, explore all their records, including detailed online logs, right on this site at sharpplays.com. With the Sharp Plays, you're joining a team that's never had a losing season, so what the hell do you have to lose? Start today, get access to the best betting insights at sharpplays.com. This kid Che heading back to the line for UC Irvine. Our oversized t-shirt buddy. He hit 2 out of 3 late to tie it and send it to OT. Now with a 1-point lead, 93 seconds left. He hits one, 82-80. Anteaters up a bucket. Minute 30 to go. This is going to be fun. This thing's going to go down to the wire. Chattanooga from 3. Money. Wow, the mocks refuse to go away. This team won't die. Loyola Chicago had a second half lead, couldn't bury him. Now, Irvine, it's that kid Che again. Something about that oversized t-shirt. I mean, he's balling like it's a playground in the year 2004. He's got a triple XL t-shirt on. He looks like he's 170 pounds soaking wet. Can Chattanooga answer? No, Irvine ball. Inside a minute to go, up 1. We're going to take it to the diamond. Up next, MLB reporter Michaela Bennett joins the program. Don't go anywhere. It's Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Cashing Out continues with Joe Ceraulo, taking you through the late hours of your Thursday night right into your Friday morning here on the program. Light slate Thursday on the Diamond. 5 games. Some intriguing matchups, though. We'll be breaking those down, but more importantly, looking ahead to Friday as we welcome in on the Progressive Guest Line MLB reporter Michaela Bennett into the show. Michaela, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me tonight.
Absolutely. It's great to have you on. And I want to start looking at this Friday slate with a team that you know well, a pitcher that we both know well from his time with my Mets, now last year's AL Cy Young runner-up with your Royals, Seth Lugo in Kansas City, hosting Baltimore this weekend. A little rematch from last year's playoff series. What are you expecting out of Lugo and the Royals despite this little slow start of theirs?
I definitely think it's going to be a little bit different than what we saw for him last weekend. He didn't get the loss, but it definitely wasn't his best outing. So I definitely expect him to kind of bounce back and go back to the Lugo that we know and love in Kansas City and have a little bit more of a dominant performance.
Yeah, I mean, look, he was great against the Orioles last postseason. Obviously, last weekend, his first start of the season, not what you'd hope to see out of him, but that's kind of, the way things have gone for him against the Guardians since he joined Kansas City. Struggled against Cleveland last year, and he's coming off a season, first time in his career where he eclipsed the 200 innings mark. Michaela, I'm wondering, it's pretty strenuous from a guy who used to be a reliever, now coming into the rotation, 59 starts the last 2 seasons, plus 2 more playoff starts. How do you think Lugo's going to hold up? Do you think he's going to be able to replicate last year's performance, or do you expect a step back this season?
I don't expect much of a step back. I think it could replicate. I don't know if it'll be the exact same, but I think it'll probably be pretty similar to last year. I don't expect him doing a whole lot more, but I don't think he's going to regress either. He's only 35, so he's still, not too old yet. But like you said, 200 innings is a lot for a pitcher. And as you get older, even just 1 year, that can really wear on your body. So I definitely expect to see Lugo in top form, but I don't necessarily to see him taking steps forward from last year.
Yeah, after the season he just turned in, it would be pretty tough to take a step forward. He was sensational a year ago. How about your other hometown team, the St. Louis Cardinals? Who saw this coming? A 4-2 start to the season. I had St. Louis penned for last place in the NL Central, although that division is so wide open. Who the heck knows what'll happen there? But they're going to Boston. It's a Red Sox team you and I both picked to win the AL East. Started a little slow, but they've pieced together consecutive wins over Baltimore. What do you think happens this series? The Red Sox just slight favorites in Game 1, laying $1.35 there on the money line. Eric Fedde versus Walker Buehler. Who do you like in this opener Friday?
I like the Red Sox for this one. At home, day game in Boston. I think the fans are going to be fired up. Buehler with, a new team now. But the Cardinals, they have definitely surprised me. Nolan is having a great first week, a little bit of a bounce back season. I think he's hitting 391-ish right now. Definitely love to see that out of him. And I definitely think it's going to be more of a fight this weekend, but I definitely expect Boston to take at least 2.
Yeah, Michaela, it's a 2 p.m. Eastern start time out there for their home opener. What time in Boston do you think they start drinking for a 2 p.m. Eastern game?
Oh, goodness. 7 a.m.
Yeah, I think, being friends with a few people that went to college up in Boston back then, I think that's a pretty accurate assumption that it's going to start at 7 a.m. Fenway's one big party, and Walker Buehler crapped the bed his first time out for the Red Sox, but now he gets the ball in the home opener, and hopefully he can prove why Boston paid him. How about Shota Imanaga? I want to ask you about him and the Cubs. Chicago hosting San Diego, the 7-0 Padres. And I know you spent a lot of time in the spring out there in Arizona and Scottsdale and the surrounding areas. Did you see any of Imanaga out there? How much of these two teams, the Padres and the Cubs, did you get to see? What are you expecting in this game at Wrigley?
I saw quite a bit of both teams, but I definitely think the Padres aren't getting the recognition they deserve right now because the Dodgers are overshadowing them. Still being 7-0 is incredible, and they've done it true this season. The Dodgers had to go overseas for the first 2. They didn't have to. They went overseas for the first 2. So the Padres have done it, since opening day. Whereas it's a little bit different, but I think the Padres aren't really getting enough credit right now. They're a great team. I think the Cubs, is kind of wishy-washy on what to expect from them. Tucker's been great for them. I'm not sure what Shota's going to do coming out. But both teams have been really good. They were really good in the spring. I think I told you I picked the Cubs to win that division. So I definitely think it's going to be a good 3-game matchup. It is the Cubs home opener, so I think that does sway things a little bit one way. Day game, again, at Wrigley. All the fans are going to be, showing out, drinking early. Wrigley's a great time. So I think they'll take this one tomorrow, but I could definitely see the Padres still taking 2 out of the 3.
Yeah, the Cubs laying $1.75 on the money line in that one. San Diego, a plus 145 underdog. Definitely some value there with the Padres if you think Randy Vasquez can compete with Imanaga in that contest. I will say, I think Chicago, fun city, a little more tame than Boston. Maybe they'll wait for the consumption of beverages until 9 a.m. or so out there in Wrigleyville. How about these Dodgers? You mentioned them, the other undefeated team alongside San Diego in the NL West. They're going to Philly, and the Phillies, albeit against subpar competition, the Nationals and the Rockies, they're off to a good start. 5-1 to start the year. Yamamoto going for the Dodgers. Luzardo, the lefty, for Philadelphia. Who do you like in Citizens Bank Park?
I like the Dodgers, but I really liked the Braves yesterday. So I thought the Braves were going to take that one from the Dodgers. Obviously, it didn't happen because Ohtani hit a walk-off. But again, they're 7-0, and they just faced the Braves. So it's going to be a little bit different series going to Philly. I think those guys are more gritty, and it's definitely going to be a bit of a battle. So I can see the Phillies taking this one tomorrow, but the Dodgers taking the full series.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what Philadelphia is able to get going on a Friday night. Their bullpen, they had to use Alvarado, their closer, over 30 pitches to salvage the sweep against Colorado. This Dodgers team, I watched them, and it's defeating as a fan of any other team. You watch them, and you're like, are they ever going to drop a game? Even when they're down 5-0 in the first 2 innings. They come back, like you said, Ohtani gets the walk-off. Good news for Atlanta, though. They may be 0-7, but they're at home now after this West Coast start to the season, taking on the Marlins, their home opener. Schwellenbach's pitching. I think the Braves should get their first win of the year on Friday. Michaela, I wanted to ask you about a team. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you have the Rangers winning the AL West coming into the year?
I did.
5-2 to start the season. Kicked the Red Sox ass that opening 4-game set. What do you think about the Rangers thus far?
I think they're impressing me, and I mean that division's a little bit kind of up in the air too, but they've really impressed me, and I think that they still have a lot of potential to even grow and build upon what they've already done. So I think they're a young team; it's a different team, but I think that they can build on this momentum and just keep riding it through the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good start to the year, and now they host Tampa Bay. This one, close to a pick'em. The Rangers minus 125. Tampa, a short dog, plus $1.05 on the road for the first time this season. Who would you take in this one Friday night? Zach Littell going up against Tyler Mahle.
Ooh, I think I'm going to take the Rangers on this. Yeah, I mean, the Rays are such an unpredictable team, I feel like, right now. But I think I'm going to take the Rangers on this one.
All right, I love it. Michaela, one game to get to before I let you go. It's my Mets home opener. They're hosting Toronto. The Blue Jays, who everyone was saying, myself included, in the offseason, start the fire sale now, start selling, get ready for the trade deadline. Well, the Blue Jays are 5-2. They go to Citi Field. Kevin Gausman, Tyler McGill. Who do you think wins this home opener in New York City?
I hate to say this to you, but I think Toronto does. The Mets haven't impressed me lately. Soto hasn't really impressed me. I mean, some of his defensive flaws have shown. But I think, it's home opener, so you're always going to get that emotion too. But I think the Blue Jays will come in and take the series at least.
All right. Well, on that note, this might be your last time here on the program, Michaela. But no, really appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much for the time. Thanks for the picks. We'll do it again soon.
Sounds good. Have a good night.
Michaela Bennett, MLB reporter. Make sure you follow her on Twitter at MichaelaB_22. Hey, folks, the VSiN Summer Special is here. From Augusta to the NFL Draft, the MLB season is underway. NBA and NHL playoffs are around the corner, and who could forget the Kentucky Derby? So you need a VSiN Pro subscription. We've got you covered all summer long for just $59. Sign up now. You'll get expert picks, including all of our best bets, exclusive betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 video access, and more. Every sport, every edge, one price. Full VSiN Pro access now through August 1st for just $59 at VSiN.com/subscribe.
Cashing out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, here on a Thursday night. The NIT is in the books. How about Chattanooga, the Mocs, your NIT champs? And I got to say, we're having Greg Hoops Peterson on the program later on. Greg just fired out a tweet that I couldn't agree with more. And I want to give Greg credit for this because it was his tweet. But he goes, if I had to give this NIT a review, it gets a 10 out of 10. Mid-major teams giving it their all, playing for the love of the game to prove that they belonged in the big dance. I liked more mid-majors in this year's field, too. These guys are laying it all out there, and I appreciate that. I mean, this Chattanooga team, I faded them against Loyola. I didn't play this game against UC Irvine, but, I said that Chattanooga didn't belong in March Madness, that the SoCon, you needed to be the conference. Maybe you didn't need to be the conference champ, because Furman always has a good team. They've won games in March. Wofford's always been a competitive, frisky team, and they were, the 6th seed in the SoCon, and they covered against Tennessee. They weren't really live to win that game, but they covered against Rick Barnes' Vols. UNC Greensboro, Eastern Tennessee State, Chattanooga, obviously the 1 seed there. The SoCon's got good hoops. Maybe I underestimated the SoCon as Chattanooga wins the NIT. But UC Irvine certainly belonged. I thought a couple of teams from the American. We've talked about North Texas, who lost to UC Irvine by 2 in the NIT semifinals. We've talked about UAB. These are really good teams that I think could have disrupted a little bit in the big dance in March Madness. So Chattanooga, the king of them all, NIT champs, and I agree with Greg Hoops Peterson in giving this year's NIT a 10 out of 10. I really do. Like I said earlier, before I saw Greg's tweet, best NIT in quite a while. There was the one great one a couple of years ago, and I'm not saying this to sound biased. The Bonnies made it to the Final Four at MSG, the semifinals, but it was Xavier Washington State. I think Xavier won it. And the Final Four was Xavier, Washington State, A&M, and Bonaventure. And that was a damn good NIT. That had Virginia, Colorado, Oklahoma. That was a really good NIT. This year's right there with that one. And I think that tournament's got some life. Heard people say they think the Crown's going to replace it. I don't think so. I think the NIT is still a step up. Look, those mid-major teams, UC Irvine and Chattanooga, I think are better than most of the teams we've seen here in the Crown. Colorado, dead last in the Big 12. Give me a break. The Buffaloes stink. You got teams decimated by the transfer portal. It's why I'm not betting on the CBC. It's why I haven't put any action on the Crown. Who the hell's on these teams? You got guys that play on a team that finishes 9th place in its respective conference, and boom, they're out of there. Boise looks good. I will say they look like a wagon. I'd probably look their direction against, Nebraska? Boise, Nebraska in the semifinal. And Villanova versus UCF. I said it. We said it right here on Cashing Out. The Villanova Wildcats said they'd come back and beat USC. They were plus 165. That was their best price as a dog, plus $1.65. They do it. 60-59. So they don't get there in terms of covering that pre-flop number. They were laying 5.5. Trojans cover. But Villanova pulls off the comeback win. Look, gotta go back to where it all started. And by where it all, I mean my life, right? Got to go to Father Knows Bets on this one. Pop said it on Monday night's show. George Ceraulo said Villanova, these kids are on WW. Willard Watch, trying to impress the new coach. Well, I would say the toughness and grit they just showed in that comeback, that's impressive if I'm a new coach walking in the door. What a win by Villanova. Now, USC stinks, and Nova was favored by 5.5. I'm not going to sit here and say it's the most impressive win, but it's a great comeback for a team that was down 9 in the second half. That is a great comeback win. Nova, UCF, Boise, Nebraska, your Crown semifinals are on. I love it. Folks, you want to know where the money's really going? Unlike other sources, our betting splits right here at VSiN come straight from Circa and DraftKings, giving you insight into where the sharp action's landing. Circa's known for taking big bets from pro bettors, while DraftKings provides a broader market perspective. That means you're getting the real action, not just public money, but the kinds of wagers that move lines. See the percentage of bets versus the handle on every game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN's summer special right now. You don't want to miss this, folks. Just $59, everything you need through August 1st, only at VSiN.com/subscribe. So Nova squeaks out the win. Chattanooga squeaks out the win in the NIT championship. And then there was one. Warriors, Lakers. A bucket here by LA can make it a single-digit game. They chuck up a 3, and I say chuck because that was a brick. But they get the offensive board. Luka's got it. Left wing, 10 to shoot. 4:18 left in the third. 2 dribbles in. Little fade away. Nothing but net. 75-66. Warriors up 9. 4 minutes to go in quarter number 3. Let's refresh these live odds. Golden State is laying 5.5 live with this 9-point lead. That's juiced 25 cents. Lakers catching 5.5, minus 105. Lakers money line plus 250. Golden State minus 350 on the money line in this one. Promised we'd get to some of Thursday's MLB action. 5 games, light slate, really entertaining baseball. From soup to nuts, from breakfast to dinner. Woke up, had the Red Sox and the O's, had the Rockies and the Phillies. Taijuan Walker, 6 beautiful scoreless innings. Senzatella for the Rockies. Got the loss, but didn't allow an earned run. How about that? Antonio Senzatella, 5 1/3, 1 run, none earned, 10 hits. I mean, he got hit around, but didn't allow an earned run. Walker, 6 innings, 3 hits, 4 Ks. I think his K prop was 4.5. Rockies striking out more than any other team in the league thus far. So stayed under that on the hook, but the Phillies sweep Colorado. Got dicey there in the 9th. You see your Thursday MLB recap. Terrific job by our incredible producer, Jared Moore, putting that together. Schwarber with a Schwarb bomb. Got to actually go back to Father Knows Bets with this one. Woke up to a text. Schwarber home run. I think it was plus 350. Boom. 444 feet. Straightaway center field. Phillies, shortest price to win the NL East, plus $1.30. It's early. It's early for the odds to be moving that much. Christian Campbell, the now $60 million man, hit his second home run of the year. Red Sox beat Baltimore 8-4. Campbell, plus $1.70 to win that AL Rookie of the Year. And then the Astros, that was one of our best bets. Top Minnesota 5-2 in the Twins home opener. Astros are plus $1.75 to win the ALS, 7-1 to win the American League, coming off that sweep at home against San Francisco. Took 2 out of 3 from my Mets, got swept by the Giants. Now they spoil Minnesota's home opener. 5-2, went down 2-0 in the first inning. We had Houston, closed plus $1.15. Split the day, won the Astros, lost Lodolo over 5.5 Ks. He went 6 1/3 innings, pitched great. 1, I believe, unearned run allowed. And the Reds lose again, 1-0. Only 4 Ks for Lodolo, despite the really strong effort. He gets a loss he doesn't deserve. How about the Cincinnati Reds, folks? VSiN's own Paulie Howard tweeted this out right before cashing out started. The Reds just became the first team since 1960 to lose 3 consecutive games 1-0. 2 to the Rangers, now the opener to the Brewers. 1-0. The Reds haven't scored in 27 innings. What the hell's going on? And they're playing in hitter's heavens. Great American Ballpark for the first 2 games. One of the easiest parks to hit in baseball. Milwaukee, Miller Park, I don't know what the hell it's called now. Used to be Miller Park. Milwaukee is a very, I think, underrated, underestimated hitter's ballpark. I don't think you realize it as a fan watching it. A lot of MLB players I've spoken to say that Milwaukee, the sight line is terrific. The ball flies because you're in a dome. They say it's one of the best places to hit. It's very cookie cutter stadium. It's not, it doesn't have the dimensions of Great American or Yankee Stadium where it feels like you're in a little league park, but it's very cookie cutter. Guys love hitting in Milwaukee. They say top 5 to top 10 hitters park in the bigs. So the Reds, in 2 games at Great American Ballpark and 1 at Miller Park, have now lost all 3 1-0. If you're betting unders in Reds games, mazel tov. You're doing something right. But my goodness, when are these Reds going to wake the hell up offensively? You know who woke up offensively? The Yankees, after dropping the first 2 to Arizona. Merrill Kelly on the bump opposite Cookie Carrasco. It felt like a spot to back the D-backs. Well, we talked about some props in this one, and we talked about Cookie over 2.5 earned runs allowed. That got home. He allowed 3 earned. That was plus $1.05 yesterday when we first spoke of it. Closed plus $1.25. I think the concern there was whether or not Cookie would go long enough, deep enough into the game to allow more than 2.5 earned. Well, he went 5 1/3, allowed 3, got the win. Merrill Kelly got absolutely shelled. Luke Weaver notches his first save of the year. Yankees blew the Brew Crew out in that opening series, so no need for a closer. But 9-7, Yankees win. How many combined home runs were in this game? Judge got 1, 3-run in the first. Grisham in the third. Chisholm in the fourth. And Perdomo tried to keep the D-backs alive with a grand slam in the top of the 7th to make it 9-7, where that score would ultimately hold. But Merrill Kelly, 3 2/3, 9 earned. Rough outing in the Bronx. Yankees don't get swept. D-backs take 2 out of 3. They head down the road to D.C. for the weekend to come. More cashing out with Joe Ceraulo up next.